to get a discount and a cap. So idea is that's where you the top and the bottom kind of, and you negotiate whatever best you can.
Great, Sanjay. Thank you so much. So on that note,
Sure.
guys, we conclude this session. Yeah, and now moving on to our next and final session for the summit, which talks about how technology is facilitating global investments. I think we couldn't have found a more apt topic to conclude this summit. And here we have speakers, Mr. Vineeth Narasimhan, who is the co-founder and Chief Technology Officer at Kristal.AI, and Mr. Himanshu Gupta, India Business Lead, Kristal.AI. Himanshu and Vineeth, you both are now the co-hosts. I just
Uh,
yeah, you
Thanks a
can
lot.
start presentation.
Thanks. So the topic of this session, right, is how is really technology enabling or really revolutionizing and empowering Indians and to invest in global investments. Over the last 1.5 days, right? So you would have heard about a variety of global products that you can get access to. So what has really made it more popular for everyone is the easy access that is available to everyone here. And technology is really driving that. So what we will talk now is two things. One is how is really technology enabling multi-asset global access and also enabling wealth advisors to provide unbiased advice in global investments to their clients. So that is number one. The second one is really how is technology empowering these global advisors itself. So we will talk a bit about both of that. We just have two slides, but we will, after this, show a live demo of our product, Kristal, where you will get a glimpse of how some of this really happens in action. So I'll cover these two slides and then hand it over to Himanshu to show you a quick demonstration. Over the last 4 or 5 years, right? So you would have seen a number of marketplaces come up across the board to enable access to global investments. So there are, if you want to invest in ETFs, stocks, REITs, there are broker platforms which are now fully digitally empowered to platforms like Interactive Brokers, Drive Wealth, so on and so forth. So if you want to get access to corporate bonds specifically, you have other platforms which are experts in this area. Platforms like Saxo Bank. You have global thematic basket platforms that have started coming up. You have started seeing a number of other platforms which focus specifically on hedge funds, VC funds. Structured products is also now available digitally. And so are startups and pre-IPO stocks globally as well. So a number of platforms have started, marketplaces, platforms have started coming up. And we at Kristal are also working towards the same direction and trying to bring together all of this value of all these multiple platforms on a single platform itself. So that is one thing where you are seeing significantly technology deliver value. Onboarding onto these platforms, like earlier, don't take months together. Everything can be done within a few hours or maximum of a day or two. So you have technologies like what is the centralized KYC databases, which can be leveraged across. In India, you have the CKYC database that can be done. There are global AML databases that are available, like the ones from Thomson Reuters or World Check. Agreements can be signed very easily online using technologies like DocuSign. And also specifically to India, right? The global money transfer process has also started getting digitalized by different banks. So the one which is fairly popular is the one from ICICI Bank, the Money to World product. But we know, having spoken to a number of banks, right? Everybody is moving in that direction. And very soon you will see everybody being able to offer global money remittance via LRS as well. So really getting a client started with global investments now is really a matter of few minutes or maximum of a day or so that you can get them fully set up and interested. So the main crux of the problem is around really the advisory piece, right? As to this is an area where it's completely new to people. So there is a lot of education which is involved, and that is where wealth advisors play a key role. And here too, there are a number of tools, platforms that are coming up to help people with getting access to information and tools to help their clients. For example, in specifically on Kristal, what we do is provide a number of screeners which help, wherein we have curated all these different assets and made available a lot of information of different investments available on our platform. There are models that we have helped build so that we can help clients with what is the real allocation that has to happen into global investments that is available. Then there is the ongoing portfolio management that is also available, because what is important is the ongoing tracking, risk management of this portfolio, especially in a investment portfolio where there are a lot of variables, since these are global in nature, right? Then coming to fulfillment, like we spoke earlier, right? There are a number of brokers who are available now where you can buy a number of different other kinds of investments itself, right? So as you can see from this one slide, right, really using technology sitting at home today, it is possible to get access to a variety of different global assets, which in the past would be very, very difficult. Coming to really how technology is empowering wealth advisors, traditional approach has been to use spreadsheets, and now we are seeing more and more technology tools and platforms that are coming in here to help the wealth advisors. The goal of all of these is to see how to make these advisors, relationship managers, lot more powerful. And we at Kristal aim to make them at least 10x more productive than what they used to be. Our concept is that an advisor today has become an Ironman advisor, where they will be able to cater to large number of clients in a lot more intelligent manner than what they were doing today. And the way we do it is by providing a single window CRM plus wealth management plus collaboration solution. So where within a platform itself, so whatever where you are using multiple different tools for, all can be done in one place. The entire CRM functionality, the things like simple task management, document sharing, messaging can all be done from one solution. There are tools that are available where that you can leverage, screeners, there are certain pricers, all of them available on the platform itself, so that it gives power to the hands of the wealth advisors when they are sitting with the customers and helping them with this entire process of global investments. Finally, what is also important is to understand really what is the client's interest and what is the client really doing on the platform. And this via technology gives you a lot better understanding of what the customer is today doing, because when the client uses the platform, there is a lot of information that gets collected, so that that can be really used in an anonymous manner to understand really how clients are using it, what are clients wants, what do they don't like on the platform, and helps the wealth advisors really get a better understanding of their customers and provide better solutions to their requirements. Okay, so let me hand it over now to Himanshu to show some of these things in action.
Thank you, Vineeth. So I think that's a good backdrop in terms of, of course, theoretically how technology works. But what we wanted to actually share with the audience here was, the reality of how this technology is coming into play. So what you're seeing here is basically our CRM solution dashboard, right? Which enables relationship managers, advisors. And this has been created as an end-to-end solution to be used. So what I'm going to walk you through is basically a simple standard onboarding, and then we'll just fast forward to how to look at the advisory, etc. things, right? And you'll see that in a matter of a few minutes, we can actually get things going. Now, as I go through this, if there are questions for Vineeth or me, please just feel free to put them on uh, as you walk through the screens. Just bear with me. I'm just going to re-log in. We have certain security measures which log us out if we are inactive on the platform. Right, so let's get started. I'm just going to create a test ID in my name. I can adjust fee structures, etc. if I want over here, depending on the commercial discussion with the client. And I'm just going to click submit over here. Right now, of course, a profile ID has been created. I'm quickly going to get into that profile over here. Get into edit KYC. Let's put some words in there. And typically all this information is what a relationship manager or an advisor would already have, right? So it doesn't necessarily require too much client interfacing while all this is going on. Next, let's quickly do a risk profiling. Again, information that typically all RMs will need. Let's put some aspirational numbers. If I had been as smart an investor as Sanjay, sorry, wrong choice. I am a client with, let's say, an extremely high risk appetite. Have in the past invested in a variety of asset classes. The system has given me a risk appetite. So this is again very key, right? Technology is being used to assess a client's risk appetite. So there is no, overriding this to, push a particular product possibly. All basic documents can be uploaded. That's that. And if I was sitting in front of a client, I could have done the IPV just yet. Otherwise, of course, the client receives an email, right, that allows them to just validate all this information themselves. Right now, that's done. The client profile is done. Now let's fast forward. 24 hours. The client has actually gone. They've received a temporary login, and they have validated the account. They have accepted use DocuSign and accepted the agreements, right? I'm going to switch screens now for a second and get back into, sorry, just one moment. Yeah, into the client account that was created. And now I can see that the client has validated everything, signed the agreements, the IPV, etc. is done. As an advisor, what I simply do is I can get into sort of the advisory piece over here that Vineeth was alluding to, right? And let's say the client is looking to invest the entire LRS limit of $150,000. This is the risk appetite of the client. I simply put that in and the algo starts working. Of course, what the algorithm does is it takes into account the client's risk profile and investment objective. It takes into account the different kind of crystals or investment options that are deemed suitable, right? It starts clustering it by looking at correlation and then sort of optimizes the asset allocation, right? So not only what we see is in asset allocation, but also within the relevant asset classes, the different kind of underlyings that the client can actually invest in. Now, at this step, typically the RM would, get into, or the advisor gets into a conversation with the client, right? And let's assume the client has said okay by simply clicking the investment button, right? These crystals will get invested into. But there's one important step before this, which is of course funding the account, right? So that is also something that can be done, and this is, I think, one of the coolest features that we have, right? As a client, I can actually create a new deposit request. Source of funds, salary. I'm going to use HDFC Bank over here. Validate the IFSC code. Looks good. I think they have 14-digit account numbers and 7-digit customer IDs. Clients not made any earlier LRSs. Simply put the Crystal ID, for example, over here. I save this, and what I get as an advisor is a pre-populated LRS form, which I will again just share with the audience over here. Once I open it up, with all the basic details, the client's name, account numbers, PAN, etc., the beneficiary addresses, and this is simply what needs to be sent to the client, which they can sign and share with their bank with any other kind of ID documents that the bank may like. Now, to Vineeth's earlier point, in the cases of certain financial institutions in India, they already have this entire process, is digitized, right? So in the case of ICICI Bank, if I would have chosen ICICI Bank, it would have actually redirected the client to the Money to World platform, for example, right? And given whatever constraints they've set over there, pushes the investment through. Now, typically it takes 1 or 2 days for the funds to reach the account, and that is where then we can go back to back to our RM enterprise, where I can, just simply click the invest button, right? Here it is. Accounts funded, and maybe rerun the algo again for advice, and That's really, it's very simple. And this, of course, can be done multiple times. You want to then start looking at, other aspects that Vineeth mentioned in terms of, tracking information or conversations that we have with clients, right? And I think that's where technology, again, plays a very important role, because all these sort of aspects can be captured, right? And the system kind of directs or flags off to advisors and RMs when there are relevant sort of opportunities really for uh, the client that you want to discuss with the client, right? So I think by the clock, this entire process took less than 10 minutes, right? And this is what we were trying to, make the point that with technology, apart from, access to a variety of investment options, uh, uh, you have the multitude. So maybe it's worth spending some time on that to see everything that the client can see as well. So I'm just going to share screen again. And for those of you who were in some of the earlier sessions, right, whether it is the simple ETFs, right, and sort of looking at the screeners, etc., everything's kind of curated with all sorts of information, with all sorts of fact sheets, etc., which are there, right? Or whether we get into, the funds space, we had or the private equity or the VC space, we had a session with Ankur on emergent ventures, right? So that's what you will see over here. For example, so the idea is technology has, of course, enabled, right, the ability to bring together a variety of investment solutions, investment avenues for clients, all through single window seamlessly, to make things far easier, not only for the client but also for RMs and advisors, right? Whether we want to look at then structured solutions, maybe what sort of trade ideas might be visible to a client. We feel that we should bookmark certain things for the client. So, basic hygiene factors, but as well as a variety of, options that are deemed suitable for the client across the entire board, whether it's in the space of simple stocks, whether it is in ETS, or then getting into more of the alternate space or the fund spaces in terms of hedge funds, etc. So I'm going to stop sharing screen, and I think happy for Vineeth and I to take questions at this stage. It is the last session of a very exciting day and a half, I think. So happy to take questions now from the audience.
So Himanshu, you want me to read it out, or you can?
I can see the questions, Aditya. So I think some of them have been answered on the chat, but for the benefit of everyone, I think there was one question: can our platform be used by RIs as per the latest SEBI regulation? The answer is yes. It is designed, and all the paperwork, etc., around partner agreements, etc., facilitate that. There is then a question also by others who are not RIs. Now, if it is a licensed investment activity, then only then sort of we get into those arrangements. So someone who is not licensed specifically to be an investment advisor, it can be a little challenging, right? I think that you have a question in terms of a full demo, so we would be happy to for a team member to get in touch with you, and we can arrange for that, right? Then I think Arjun has a question in terms of distributors. Is there a risk profiling tool? So the risk profiling tool, Arjun, as you saw, is for clients who are onboarded. For the distribution model, so to speak, of course, it comes into whatever investment solutions are available on the platform, right? So, but yes, as a distributor, as my colleague Siddhant has responded, distributors can use the platform. Again, there's separate sort of agreements we can get into with distributors as well. Uh, uh, Pankaj, again, from a detailed view perspective, happy to have a team member get in touch with you and we can arrange demos. So in fact, if anyone would like a personalized sort of demo, please get in touch with Siddhant Raizada. He is on this Zoom. Aditya, if I could, request you to just share our contact information. Uh, Happy to do that, right? Or better still, just visit our website, Kristal.AI, and you can request for a call, and someone from the team will get in touch with you. Sangeeta has a question in terms of should we submit LRS forms of clients to the bank or will it be done via the Kristal platform? We have both models available, Sangeeta. So either when we create the forms, clients can use those forms, walk into their closest branch and do things themselves if that is what the underlying bank supports. But with some banks, we do have arrangements where we can assist clients with that process, including negotiating better foreign exchange rates as well. Um, uh, Jenny, you have a question. Where are we based? So, Kristal, we are a Singapore headquartered company, but in India we have a presence, an office in Bangalore. Obviously, everyone's working from home now, but we have team members in Pune and Bangalore, essentially. So happy to connect. And then again, there is a question I can't make it out from home. What are the frameworks of the AI algorithms and how efficient the tech is? I will defer to Vineeth if you can maybe shed some light on that, Vineeth.
Sure. So just give me a minute. Let me bring up a slide. I think this should give some flavor. So on our platform, we have really different use cases where we use AI and quant models. Some of them are highlighted in this particular slide below, starting with asset curation, asset allocation and advisory, the entire user experience, what gets recommendation, as well as all the internal business processes that we try to optimize using these algorithms. For all of this, there are different algorithms that are used. Over a period of time, we started with simple decision trees. In 2016, the following year, we evolved to something called evolutionary algorithms or genetic algorithms, as they are popularly known as. Last year, for one particular requirement, which is around the UX recommendation, we started using what are called multi-arm bandits. And the latest one is something which is really cutting edge, which is in the form of Bayesian optimizations. Essentially, all of these are optimization algorithms. That is how we look at it. It is not that we are trying to do something which is far more smarter than an advisor here. What we are trying to do is to enable the advisor to scale and do whatever they are supposed to do in a very systematic manner. So that is what is the core crux of how we are using these different AI algorithms. So that is why essentially it is an optimization problem that it is solving. To enable all these algorithms, there is a lot of back-end work that happens, feature engineering that we do. There is really loads and loads of data that we process, data which span from across user profile, user engagement, asset-related information, market-related information, as well as inputs from our financial advisory team as well. So all of that goes into different algorithms that we have built. Finally, these are some of the use cases that we are trying to solve.
I'd just like to add in terms of the part of the question, how efficient is the technology? From a stability perspective, of course, everything that can be done to ensure its stability is there. So from that perspective, it is efficient. I think like most quant models, right, there are certain aspects where the human oversight is always helpful. So as an example, earlier in March, if most people would run these sort of algorithms, you would likely see a recommendation of, airline stocks creeping in because of the massive amount of value they had lost because of the lockdown. Right now, that's an area where, even Vineeth alluded to earlier, the idea of technology is to create an Iron Man profile advisor, not necessarily to get the advisors out of the picture, right? So it is to a large extent, or to some extent, I should say, a combination or a bionic model, right, where advisors and RMs use technology to their benefit to become more efficient themselves. But I wouldn't necessarily go to the extent of saying that you can leave everything to technology. Sangeeta, yes, Siddhant has put the request to call link. So please, just feel free to drop us a line over there, and we